We're going to install the CatStrap EV Cable Shield today. We have a level 2 charger with a cable management system here. The same exact process that we're going to follow today is also applicable for a level 3 or a DC fast charger. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the very first thing that we're going to do if there's a cable management system is remove the cable from the clamshell and lay it flat on a table to make it easier to work with. I'm going to quickly go over the components in your kit and how to get started with the installation. The first is the primary cable shield that you'll see coiled up here. Next is an extension piece that comes in the kit, and this allows us to finish flush with where the cable enters the machine. Now, in terms of tools, we're going to recommend a pair of snips or scissors. A heat gun, could be battery operated or corded based on your installation location, an impact driver or a set of 15mm wrenches for the clamp, and also a stainless steel cable tie gun. Now back to the kit, we also include some extra steel ties, the steel clamp at the top, some heat shrink for the handle end, spiral wrap also for the handle end, some extra electrical tape if needed, and the yellow warning tag. The very first step that we're going to do is butt up the termination end of the shield to the handle here on the cable, and then we're going to close that stainless steel zip tie around the cable and just make sure we're securing it in place so that we're finishing flush with the termination butted up against the handle as so, and I just I pull that tight by hand and then kind of nest the head of the zip tie into this black organizer here, and then using our cable tie gun tool here, it's not required but definitely recommended, makes the job a lot easier. I'm going to tighten this down and get that steel tie nice and tight, and then we're going to cut the tie and then just give the shield a little bit of a squeeze right there, and that's going to get us started. And I'm going to repeat this along the length of the cable. Approximately every 12 to 18 inches you'll find another organizer, and these can be slid up and down the cable as needed to ensure a uniform closure. So again, we'll tighten this down and then give it a nice and tight, another squeeze there, and we will continue to tighten these down until we reach the other end of the shield. We're going to be using the extension piece to finish flush with the machine end here. But before we do that, we're going to add a couple of steel zip ties from the kit right at the cable machine interface. And so using a couple of your thicker zip ties that are in the kit, I'm going to secure this right where that cable enters the machine. This is going to give us a little bit of extra protection right at the top of the cable. Now that that's in place, we're going to attach the extension piece, taking care to make sure it's butted all the way up to where the cable enters the machine. All right, so we now have both the extension piece and the shield completely secured along the full length of the cable from machine end to handle. Before we put on the sleeve, we are going to apply a few more of the stainless steel ties from the kit around the shield here, and we're going to focus on the first 3 feet or so of the shield because that's the most likely area of a cutting attempt. The first one I'm just going to place right at the termination, and this is just going to help make sure that again the shield is not going to move from this mounted position. The top of the shield should look just like this, butted up directly to the connector. We're going to be applying the second zip tie over the termination of the top of the primary shield piece, and then the third one over the bottom termination of the extension unit. And you'll notice here how in this area of the cable, again the most likely area of a cutting attempt, we're actually doubling up the metals where the extension unit and the primary shield overlap, and That's a really strong feature here because it is in the most likely area of cutting, and they're going to have extra metal to contend with. We're just going to be adding a couple more here on the next 2 sections to complete this high-risk cutting area. Now is when, if you're working with a unit, a station that utilizes a cable management system, we're going to reattach that clamshell clamp from the cable management pulley onto the cable, and then we'll secure the shield both before and after that clamp. So we have the cable management system reattached here, and now we're ready to go ahead and insert the external sleeving onto the shield. We'll start at the handle end here, and to get started, I'm just gonna use our Velcro closure to secure it around the handle there. And at each of the ends, I'm gonna use one more steel tie just to make sure that the sleeve isn't gonna move after installation. So a couple inches from the handle, we'll put a steel tie, and this is gonna get covered with our sleeving termination in the next step. So now we're just gonna continue along the length of the cable and secure the sleeving in place all the way up to the machine end. All right, so we got our sleeving on here, and just like the handle end, we're gonna apply another steel tie at the machine end just to make sure that our sleeve remains in place. Okay, so before we do our terminations over the sleeve, if you do have a cable management system where our sleeve splits open to allow the pulley to exit, we're just going to apply a couple of the plastic zip ties from the kit, and this is just to secure the sleeve tight, butted up on either side of that clamshell, and we'll stay out of any areas that the user would handle the cable. So I'm just gonna put 1 and 2, and then we'll snip these nice and tight, and just making sure that the sleeve's not gonna pop open or be tampered with at the pulley end. Sleeve should look nice and tight on either side of the pulley. So utilizing the clamp that comes in your kit, you'll notice that there's a couple different sizes on this clamp in particular, so you can choose the one that works best for you. On this machine in particular, the smaller end of the clamp is a really nice secure fit on the connector of the cable where it goes into the machine. So that's a hard plastic underneath there, and we're actually just going to clamp directly over that and nice and flush with the body of the charger here, and secure this clamp on here, and just make sure that no one's going to be able to cut up at the machine end of the cable. And we'll just get this started by hand. Make sure we're nice and secure up flush with the body of the machine. Again, making sure there's no way to get a cutting tool in there. So you can use a 15mm wrench, and I'm also going to use an impact driver. That clamp is on here nice and tight. There's no way you're able to get that down with your hands, and so this machine end is now finished with that termination, and we're going to move on to the handle end. Like, we do have small heat shrink available to cover up the bolts on the clamp, so I'm just going to insert this on here. We consider this step optional for added deterrence and durability. So now at the handle end, we're going to terminate the sleeve. I put on the spiral wrap piece that's included in the kit. This is just an extra layer to help make sure that this termination is solid and that there's nothing that slips out of the sleeve over time. So we put the spiral wrap again right at the handle cable interface, and then we're gonna use this heat shrink to put it over that, and we'll heat shrink this down. One tip on the heat shrink, some charger handles, for example CHAdeMO, are large and you won't be able to pass the heat shrink over intact. Fortunately for this one we are, but if you are working with a larger handle, one tip is you can slit the shrink down the length of it, and then using several steel ties, secure it around the shield. Apply the heat, activate the adhesive, and then remove the steel ties. When you're finished applying the heat, here's what it should look like: a nice clean finish with that heat shrink crossing over onto both the handle and cable sides. Last step, we're going to install the yellow warning tag. We include this with every unit. It's a small step that can go a long way in just getting people to go away. Another layer of visual deterrence here. So we're going to typically install this up near the machine end. So you can see the completed installation here. We have all of the ends, both at the handle and at the machine end, terminated with the steel clamp and the heat shrink. Sleeve is secured at the cable management system, and as you can see, cable is still nice and flexible. We're able to utilize the cable management system. Installation is now complete. Thanks for watching. Please reach out with any questions.